Welcome back to the Slasher Siblings podcast. I'm your co-host Cicely, as you know.
I'm your host Hayden, as you should also know.
And today we're talking about Frankenstein.
The original.
The OG. The original gangster. Came out in 1931. It's approved? What the hell does that mean?
It means that was before there was ever ratings.
Oh, spooky.
So there was no,
No.
PG,
No
PG
rating, it was just thumbs up,
approved
approved.
or disapproved, yeah.
Cool. Hour and 10 minutes long. Got a 7.8 out of 10 on IMDb.
Which seems kind of crazy to me. An hour, 10 minutes?
I feel like that's very short.
Yeah, but it didn't seem like it to
Because
me.
it's in black and white. Time moves slower back then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Dr. Henry Frankenstein is obsessed with assembling a living being from parts of several exhumed corpses.
Got a 7.8. I don't know if I was talking over it. When I said that.
7.8 out of 10. IMDb.
Yeah, so I actually enjoyed it. I haven't seen this one. Have you seen this before? The original
No.
Frankenstein? I saw Bride of Frankenstein.
I've never seen any of the Frankenstein movies. I've seen Frankenweenie.
I don't think that's the same.
I think it is.
So, let's get into it here.
No, let's pause.
Okay.
Who directed
Oh, yeah.
the 1992 film Bram Stoker's Dracula? Answer: Francis Ford Coppola?
Copula. Copula.
You know what? You got it.
You got it. Good job. If not, better luck next time. And now, let's get into
Now
the movie.
let's deep dive into this shit.
So, I like how it opens like a play.
Yeah.
The guy comes out from behind the curtain and is like describing what we're about to see.
Uh-huh.
So it's almost like I was sitting like in a auditorium watching it instead of like on my phone or
Yeah.
whatever.
I like that.
Yeah.
It just kind of set the vibe.
And I kind of like the warning he gave too. And it's
Uh-huh.
like, warning, this is, what did he say? I don't remember exactly
But
what
it
he
was
said.
like, it's kind of spooky.
Yeah, he was basically saying it was spooky. And I like that. I thought that was a
I thought it was cute. I like
Nice
to
little touch.
watch movies and shows from like not our time.
oh yeah.
Like I do like to watch shows. Obviously, I like to watch a lot of things, but I like to watch like old cartoons. I was just watching something in black and white the other day. I can't exactly remember what it was, but it's just like comforting. Like the Carol Burnett show.
Alfred Hitchcock's movies.
It's
I
got
love
like
his
that
movies.
old, you know what I mean, vibe, and
Mhm.
it puts me to sleep in
Did
a
we
good
do
way.
The Birds yet? I don't think we
No,
did.
I was watching The Birds the other day.
It's good. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's new on Netflix, so I decided to watch it. But I
good.
fell asleep during it because the vibes are so cozy. But it's good.
And also, before we get out of the, opening,
Uh-huh.
is that I really like the little tiny touch of the monster question mark.
Uh-huh.
Like, it didn't tell you who was playing
Uh-huh.
the monster. I thought that was really cool.
Because he was real.
Right. So, we open up the actual movie to a funeral is happening. And it's like, oh, well, that's sad, right?
Sad face. Yes.
But you see, I guess kind of in the background, that Frankenstein is plotting something,
Yeah.
which probably isn't good.
Probably not.
So, whenever the gravedigger actually left, what are the grave people called?
I have no idea.
Can't remember.
Grave attendants?
No, I'll look it up. I forget. But when the gravedigger left, Frankenstein and his assistant went and took the casket of the person that just had the funeral done. So it's like, what happens when they come back and it's just gone?
Yeah.
Like, would they not notice or what?
I don't know. That's crazy to think about.
So they actually found a hanged body and they cut it down, and they said that the brain in this one is useless because the neck was broken, which kind of makes you think about the stakes of what's going on in this movie. So he's looking for body parts, right? He doesn't have them all yet. So we don't start the movie off immediately and he's ready for the Frankenstein experiment. So they go to the university that he was teaching at, I believe.
Yeah.
And they found a brain in the class. 2 brains.
Oh,
One.
that's where I left it.
What? Oh yeah, that's where I left it. One normal brain and Cicely's abnormal brain.
My smooth brain.
And the assistant, Fritz, I think his name was, grabbed the normal brain, but he drops it.
Same thing happened to me when I was born. They were inserting the brain and
Dropped the brain.
it.
So
It's
they
got some
take
dust on it.
So they took the abnormal brain instead of the good brain. So a little bit of time passed in the movie, and it's where he's saying that his experiments are important. And it kind of begs the question, important to who? To you, right? Like, what does creating life do to, further, I guess, society in a way?
Yeah. Especially something like this.
Especially something like this, but it also makes you think of, like, what kind of mental state he's in,
Yeah.
So, he's apparently creating life, and this is the point in the movie where he's like, I basically know what I'm doing, and I know what needs to be done, because my work is important. He doesn't really explain why it's important.
He just says
He just wants to feel like God, I guess you could say. That's what he wants. So it's also at this point in the movie that there's a perfect storm, as he calls it, where it's going to have the necessary amount of electricity, lightning, whatever, to get this creation to bring him to life. So he says that they're ready and they need to prepare to, conclude the experiment, I guess you could say. And then his fiance and some guy, I don't know who the guy was. Did they say? Do you remember if they said, like, who he actually was?
I don't remember. They might have.
I think he was just a friend or something. So they came to see the experiments and check on Henry. And they could see that he's kind of flustered a little bit, which I get. He's, working on something. He's pretty busy, and then people just show up randomly.
Yeah.
Regardless of who it is, he was kind of flustered in a way. So they start the experiment. And he raises the body up into the sky, and it gets shocked by the lightning, and it comes back down, and the hand starts moving. So the experiment worked. So he took dead body parts, sewed them together, and brought this person back from the dead. It's kind of crazy to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's, a movie, it's fiction or whatever, but it's kind of crazy. It's
kind of wild.
Yeah. Imagine if that was real. That'd be crazy. But I mean, I guess, yeah, we do, quote unquote, bring people back from the dead, but that's within, a very little time.
Yeah.
Like, these bodies were dead, embalmed,
and sewed together, and
so, yeah, so it's been a while since they were alive.
Yeah.
But then there's the iconic line of him saying it's alive.
It's alive!
Every horror fan has ever heard that line. Everyone knows that it's alive from Frankenstein. And it's cool in a way to see where that line came from. Like, you know where it came from, even if you haven't seen Frankenstein, but it's kind of cool to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In, like, its truest form or whatever. And then, after this, Henry's father wants to cancel the wedding because Henry won't come back home. And it kind of seems crazy that he just wants to cancel the wedding because, you know, his son's off doing an experiment. Like, why don't you just let him finish the experiment and then he'll come back home? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So he apparently wants to cancel it, which doesn't make much sense to me.
You're already this deep.
Yeah, just have the
Finish
wedding.
it.
Just give him like
Yeah.
another couple weeks
Yeah.
or something. So we actually see the monster for the first time. And it was kind of cool to see the reveal. He like slowly creeps out of the doorway. I think black and white was fitting for a Frankenstein movie.
Yeah, I think so too. It definitely matched the vibe.
And he came out of this dark doorway. Couldn't really see his face, but he, you know, obviously stepped into the light and you could see him. But I liked the way he came out, just like covered in darkness, almost like he was quote unquote being born in a way, you know, like from the darkness to the light kind of thing. I thought that was cool. So it's also at this point where he shows him the moon for the first time, or the sun.
Minions.
It was the moon, right?
Tonight we steal the moon.
Yeah. And he reaches for the moon. He wants to grab the moon, but he starts to act a little crazy, and they're forced to subdue him into his room. And it's also at this moment that they decide that they need to kill the monster now. So you did all this work, you know, to bring him to life and make everyone think you're crazy and all this other stuff, and now you just want to kill him. Kind of seems counterproductive here.
Yeah.
And also, everyone was treating him terribly.
I know.
I mean, I know the whole point of the book and the movie is to show that Frankenstein's actually the victim. You know, he was, you know, dead and brought back to life, you know, unwillingly. That sucks. And unwillingly. And then he was treated terribly by everybody.
Yeah, why'd you guys bring him back if you're gonna be mean to him?
Fritz was bullying him.
Yeah.
And whipping him and stuff. Like, how do you expect him to act when all he's seen after being reincarnated was all this, you know, terrible stuff?
Yeah.
So, the monster ends up killing the doctor, and he escapes from the lab, which can't be good. Also, could be, in a way, if you think about it, because what if he's just kind-natured from the beginning?
Yeah.
What if he's just naturally kind or something? Which, in reality, wasn't a totally wrong...
Far off, yeah.
Yeah, because he wasn't malicious on purpose.
Right. And he also is a assembled
body parts, yeah.
Yeah, so you can't really, like, expect him to do much.
Or know everything.
Yeah.
You know? So, they finally have the wedding, and at the same time that the monster's escaping the lab. And I guess the dad didn't cancel it, but it was also nice to see that Henry is happy.
Yeah.
And, like, back to normal, I guess you could say. And, this is also the point in the movie where the monster actually meets Maria. And kind of a sad scene in a way.
Yeah.
Because in a way, he's, like, still learning. He's basically a child.
Yeah,
you know,
pretty
like
much.
a toddler.
Pretty
in, like,
much.
a
Big
very
dude's
large... Yeah.
body. Yeah.
And the girl Maria is teaching him to throw the flowers in, and they float like a boat, right? Well, he's having fun, and he picks up Maria and tosses her into the water, thinking she was going to float, but he didn't know any better.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily his fault, even though he did do it.
He doesn't know any better.
But then she drowns, and a little tidbit is that they didn't show that scene in the movie because they just thought it was too terrible or whatever. But she does end up drowning at this scene. But Elizabeth, before the wedding actually happens, or maybe it was immediately after the wedding, Elizabeth has a bad feeling about something was going wrong. And Henry Frankenstein, he's just like, no, it's fine, don't worry about it. We just need to enjoy our wedding or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's also at this moment that the monster shows up to the wedding, which is not good for anybody.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when he attacks people, we don't really see it. The only time we saw it was with the doctor.
Uh-huh.
And we didn't see him attack Elizabeth. So it's almost like, how do we know he was actually attacking her rather than she was like running from him and he's like trying to calm her down and like he gets a little too rough or something?
Yeah.
We don't know that he straight up chased her and strangled her or anything.
Exactly.
Right? And Elizabeth is just going to see this big, scary monster chasing her down, so it's not like...
Assume the
worst, exactly.
Yeah.
So, he seemed to have attacked Elizabeth, and then the dad brings Maria to the village, and he's saying that she was murdered and everything, but my thing is I know he did it, and it wasn't out of malicious intent, like he just showed up to kill a kid or something. But like, how do you know that the monster did it?
Yeah.
Is what I want to know. Is like, how do you know for sure?
You guys created this thing, so...
Exactly.
What'd you expect? Him to be perfect?
Well, you also treated him terribly.
Yeah, I don't know what you thought you were going to get out of that.
No. And it's kind of like, you didn't really set him up for success. You know what I mean? You treated him terribly. You sewn him together against his will and everything, and
I'd be pissed if someone brought me back and sewed my shit together and woke me up and said, "Hey,
I'm gonna do that." Just saying.
You better not.
I'm gonna take tips from this movie.
And then
when you
kill
die.
Me, so I die die before you. Wait 10 years and bring me back, and then gift me to the parents for their wedding anniversary. Hey guys,
here's Cicely again.
Check it out. They'll be like, "Oh man,
Cicely Frankenstein.
I thought we got rid of this bitch."
So they're off on a search party, looking for the monster because they know that he killed the little girl, and they know that he needs to be stopped, right? Well, the monster starts to fight the creator, and it's kind of look at this scene and it's like, monster and creator, who's gonna win out? The guy who brought him here against his will, or the monster just basically wants to be left alone, And he ends up taking him back to the windmill, the lab or whatever, where he thinks he's safest, and he throws Henry off the top of it. Which looks bad in the moment, but he seemed to have, survived. But why did it have to come to that is my question. So, for the final scene of the movie, is that they burn the windmill with the monster in it.
Yeah.
And he's been scared of fire the whole movie, so it's like he's being killed by his worst fear.
It'd be like a clown killing me on a tall building.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically the same thing. spiders for me. Hate spiders, but
I like spiders.
but he's being killed by his worst fear,
Yeah.
and you feel entirely bad for this dude, for the monster. You know,
Uh-huh.
you're supposed to, because he is the victim of this movie and book. But it's also like how it's also to think, if he would have had the normal brain, would he have been different? Even if he did have the abnormal brain, would he have been different if they treated him properly and like took time to teach him things instead of like keeping him in darkness and beating him with a whip and stuff
Yeah.
like that? Would he have turned out differently? Makes you kind of think. It would be cool to see like someone recreate the movie, but
Uh-huh.
make it that way.
Yeah.
Like, what if he put a normal brain in it?
The
What
other
if
version.
the other version, or what if they didn't beat him or something? Maybe-
Yeah,
did
I
you
love
s-
Frankenstein.
Did you ever see Poor Things? Emma Stone.
I don't think so. No,
Watch
actually, I
that.
didn't.
It's
I've heard it's good though.
really good. Watch that, and it's kind of like, in a way, sort of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But it's like different.
Yeah.
You'll understand when you watch it. But I really enjoyed it. I can't believe I haven't seen this one before, but I liked it a lot.
Me too.
What would you rate it?
Probably an 8, 8.5.
I think I would give it an 8.
I really like the black and white, and I like
Yeah.
the scene with the little girl and the flowers, and I don't know. I'm a sucker for these kind of movies.
Well, like I said, I like I like that we got the chance to see the It's Alive.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what
cool.
I mean? Because everyone who loves horror and everything horror
Uh-huh.
has heard that line before.
But you need to watch.
You need
where
to
it's from.
actually see
Yeah,
where it's from.
I agree.
And I thought that was really cool too.
I agree.
So, let's get into the fear facts here. For the first one, the monster does not actually resemble what he looks like in the book.
Okay.
I don't know what he's described to look like in the book, but the makeup guy or something
Uh-huh.
made him look that way. So let's see if I wrote it down. No, I didn't. So I'll add it to this one. The Frankenstein that we see today, green skin, silver
Yeah.
neck bolts, black
Yeah.
hair, black suit
Yeah.
and stuff like that, is actually the version of the makeup artists.
Oh.
That's not actually what Frankenstein looks like in the book, apparently.
Interesting.
I'd have to read the book to know what he actually
Yeah.
looks like, but apparently that was all the makeup guy's like creative decision
Yeah.
to make him look. And it's in black and white, so we don't even know that he has green skin, but they painted him in like a greenish grayish color. Kind of, I guess, to make him look like
Monsterish.
monstrous,
Yeah.
deadish,
Yeah.
kind of. So, what that means is the Frankenstein we know today is not actually the Frankenstein from the book.
Yeah.
So, Frankenstein's boots that he wears, not only are they 13 pounds each, which seems pretty insane to me, but it's no wonder his footsteps sounded so, like,
Uh-huh.
deep and menacing. They're called hot asphalt boots.
Oh.
So people would wear them when they were dumping asphalt, so that
Oh,
and
wow.
the boots had such thick soles that they were made to not melt underneath the asphalt.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And then for the third one, this is actually the first film in history to use the Castle Thunder sound effect, which I don't
Interesting.
know what that sound effect is. Obviously, it'd be the thunder,
Castle
but
Thunder.
like I don't know that one specific, like
Yeah.
the Wilhelm scream.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what the Wilhelm scream is, but this is actually the first movie to use that Castle
Cool.
Thunder effect.
Very cool.
The chick who wrote the book, Mary Shelley,
Yeah.
was only 19 when she wrote the
Wow.
book.
That's crazy.
And here we are in 2024,
Still.
still watching the movie and still raving about the movie
Yeah.
from, what was it, 1931?
Uh-huh.
So we're almost to, and 2031, it'll be
Yeah,
100 years,
That's
and
crazy.
I'm sure we'll still be talking about
Oh
Frankenstein.
yeah, for sure.
And like people still, Frankenstein's a character in that silly movie with the vampires and Frankenstein and the ghosts and whatnot.
Hotel Transylvania.
Hotel Transylvania.
So funny.
And those movies are still being. I don't know if they're still being made, but there was one recently,
Yeah.
right? Within the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think so.
Frankenstein's
Not too
in
far
it.
off.
You know, so all these years later, he's still part of a pop culture type thing. And for my final fear fact is that this movie is not technically horror because the word horror was first used in 1934.
Oh, interesting.
If you look on IMDb, it's considered body horror, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It has the word horror in it, right? But I'm sure if you go back to like 1931 to see what they described it as, it wouldn't be horror
Yeah.
because the word was first used in
That's
1934.
interesting. That's cool.
Which is interesting to think about as well, where we use that word all the time, like today. And our whole podcast is based around basically the word
Yeah.
horror. And it's kind of crazy to think that back in 1931, that's not what it was called.
That wasn't it. Yeah.
And it makes you wonder what
What
did you call it?
What did you say?
I guess just frightening or scary.
Frightening.
Frightening movies. Like, I don't know. I'll have to look up like what the word was before horror or whatever. But it's cool to like see how what's the word common the word horror
Yeah.
is now, and it wasn't created until 3 years after this movie even
Which is
came out.
crazy.
Yeah. So go ahead and read next week's question.
What 1978 classic horror film was originally titled The Babysitter Murders? Easy. Easy. You should know it by the date and the babysitter murders.
Because, I mean, a babysitter tries to get murdered in it.
So, come on.
So, if you know that answer, then put it on the Facebooks.
Yep.
If not, then obviously better luck next time. But this, go ahead and tell them what our next movie is.
Our next movie is Speak No Evil.
So I was telling her that I've been wanting to see this movie so damn bad.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it.
And
It looks freaky.
James McAvoy is awesome.
Yeah, he's freaky. He's a
Awesome.
freak.
He's an awesome actor, period. But him in horror,
Yeah, he does a good job.
like Split, him and Split as the Beast
He
was.
freaks me the hell out in Split.
I'm pretty sure we did Split, didn't we?
I think so.
But
If not, I've seen it like 6 times and I'm tired of it. Because I get like freaked. He freaks me
He
out
does.
no matter how much I watch it.
whenever he's like pulling the bars apart in Split,
Yeah,
I love
it's freaky.
that scene. But everything about Speak No Evil
Yeah.
kind of seems like it would be a great. I mean, how can I mean
Yeah.
the premise is that like people come over to the house and
Yeah.
he's not who he seems kind of thing. And James McAvoy pulling that off, I'm sure he can.
Yeah.
But did we read the question?
Yeah, we're
right?
good.
So yeah, we will see you next week with Speak No Evil, and I finally get to watch it. So
Slay.
we will catch you next week with Speak No Evil.
Catch you later.